SCP-5624. What brings us together? Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5624 is to be kept in a standard containment locker at Site-59. Experimentation is permitted with approval from Director Niasmith. As of May 20th, 2021, SCP-5624 is not to be scanned with photographs under any circumstances. Description: SCP-5624 is a 2 cm by 6 cm paper cutout depicting a small grayscale caricature of a man with glasses. Analysis of SCP-5624 has indicated that the image was made with an inkjet printer. However, inkjet copies of SCP-5624 do not possess the original anomalous effects. When SCP-5624 is laid over another image with a computer scanner, the resulting scan will have altered the original image's content. This image is most prominent in comic strips, or any other image depicting at least 2 characters. The presence of SCP-5624 will nullify any conflict between the characters, or introduce some new aspect of wholesomeness and gratitude. In order for this to occur, SCP-5624 must be superimposed in the image's negative space. Recovery Log: SCP-5624 was brought to the Foundation's attention from the Tumblr webcomic Mr. Goodtimes and the Quest for Multiversal Peace, a series of newspaper comic strips altered by SCP-5624. Following an investigation, the blog was shut down, the owner was anesthetized, and SCP-5624 was confiscated. Addendum 1. Examples of SCP-5624 alterations from the original website. Series: The Lockhorns. Original content: Leroy Lockhorn sits in his recliner. Loretta Lockhorn complains. Caption: I call this sculpture Disappointment and Repose. SCP-5624 placement: the space directly to the right of Loretta. Result: Leroy and Loretta embrace, smiling and crying. Loretta speaks. Caption: God, we're a mess, aren't we? But I wouldn't have it any other way. Series: Calvin and Hobbes. Original content: Calvin's father returns home during winter. Several sculptures of murdered snowmen are in the yard, while a snow wizard sculpture laughs maniacally. Calvin's father thinks to himself, I don't think they're assigning Calvin enough homework. SCP-5624 placement: in the snow next to the family car. Result: Calvin and his father work together on a gorier snowman display. Calvin remarks, don't forget the entrails. Snowstradamus likes to make an example of his enemies. Calvin's father thinks to himself, I don't know what I was missing. Series: Garfield. Original content: John calls one of his dates on the telephone. Getting rejected, he hangs up the phone and sobs. Garfield thinks to himself, maybe the 407th call was overdoing it. SCP-5624 placement: central panel, behind John. Result: John says, actually never mind, I'm not interested, on the phone in the first panel. After hanging up, he hangs Garfield saying, who needs dating? I got all the love I need right here. Garfield smiles and thinks, damn right you do. Series: Peanuts. Original content: Snoopy sits on the top of his doghouse and pretends he's fighting the Red Baron in World War I. SCP-5624 placement: in the sky next to Snoopy. Result: Snoopy shakes hands with an identical dog wearing a pickelhaube, narrating, having finally brokered peace with Kaiser Wilhelm II, our hero returns home with hope in his heart for a brighter future. The world rejoices at an end to the years of senseless bloodshed that have engulfed Europe. In the background, Lucy can be seen allowing Charlie Brown to kick the football. Addendum 2. Examples of SCP-5624 alterations from Foundation experimentation. Image: a photocopy of Judith and Holofernes by Artemisia Gentileschi. Original content: Judith and a servant woman working together to decapitate Holofernes, who is sleeping with a knife. SCP-5624 placement: in the background. Result: a weeping and repentant Holofernes kneels to Judith, laying down his weapons at her feet, presumably to apologize for trying to destroy her hometown of Bethalua. Judith, also weeping, places a merciful hand on his shoulder. Image: a photocopy of a World War I propaganda poster. Original content: destroy this mad brute. A snarling ape wears a helmet labeled militarism and brandishes a bloody club labeled culture while carrying off a half-naked woman. Enlist U.S. Army. SCP-5624 placement in the background. Result: be nice to apes. A smiling ape wears a helmet labeled ape hat and holds a submarine sandwich while a half-naked woman combs his fur. They're doing their best. Image: a photograph of D59183 and D29387 taken at Site 59 on May 19, 2021, taken for the purpose of experimentation with SCP-5624. Original content: as instructed, D59183 and D29387 stand next to each other in an empty room. SCP-5624 placement: the space to the left of D59183. Result: D59183 is dead, and D29387 kneels next to his corpse, sobbing. See Addendum 3. Addendum 3. Moratorium on photographic testing. On May 20th, 2021, immediately following the scan of the photograph with SCP-5624, D59183 was found dead in his cell. Cause of death was determined to be drowning in black ink. Despite confirmed reports of D59813 having reported for other experiments 2 hours prior, the state of decomposition indicated that he had been dead for at least 17 hours, since the time the photograph was taken. Date: May 20th, 2021. Interviewer: Researcher Charlton. Interviewed: D29387. Begin log. Charlton: we'd like to ask you a few questions regarding the photograph yesterday. D29387 trembles at the mention of the photograph, remaining silent. His breathing becomes quicker. If you do not cooperate with D29387, fuck off. You know what happened. You were there when the picture was taken. I was, but I was not in the picture. You were. We have reason to believe that what you saw and what I saw are two different things. So, you're saying I'm insane. I don't have the right degree on my wall to make that decision. No judgments are being made here. All the same, you're not leaving this room until we have your version of events. God damn it. Okay, fine. Where are we starting? Of the two of you who came into the photograph, D29387 breaks down, sobbing. I suppose this means you're aware of what happened to D59813. Brad! The names of D-Class are confidential. He told me. Records indicate that the time you and D59 Brad knew each other begun at the time of the shooting, and you had no contact prior. And yet, were you close? He's the only reason I made it out of there. The room where the photograph took place. No, the place we were pulled into. I thought you would have seen that part at least. That's why you want to know what you saw. I'm not sure how much time went by. By the time we broke out, only an instant had passed, but I swear it was months, at least. Apparently some of the other people there were still waiting to get out of the lake on their own, once Mr. Goodtimes approved. Brad taught me how to fight my way out instead. He even tried to attack Goodtimes himself on the way out. Didn't go too well, obviously. Can you tell me more about this lake? Give me a minute. I'm still raw from all this. Take your time. Maybe changing the subject would help. Who was Mr. Goodtimes? Was he a man with glasses? D29387 nods. Did he look like cartoon character? No anger in his voice, just said he was here to help and dragged us into his little lake. Smiling the whole time. The lake was cold, wet. The ground was covered in this thick layer of black mud that stained our clothes. Sky was pure white. Smelled like newspaper and blood. No horizon, just more black and white. The mud felt solid beneath our feet, but the more we walked forward, the more it pulled us in. And the arms kept coming, and look, I never knew Brad before all this went down, but you worked that hard to get out of the lake with someone for that long, and he's gonna be the brother you never knew you had. All the problems you had outside the lake don't matter no more. There's only the fight to escape and all the dreams of what you'll do once you break out. The times when I put it that way, I feel like we played right into Good Time's little lesson plan. Which is, be good to each other, or die. End log. Thank you for listening to SCP-5624, What Brings Us Together. If you enjoyed this SCP, please like and subscribe, and follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki, and vote up to support it and the SCP Wiki as a whole.